Welcome back, nerds. I've got an idea. It's fairly simple. I'm pretty sure it'll work, but let's build a prototype anyway. Right in my eyes. It's sawdust in every orifice. It's a shelf, a platform really, but that is just the start for this project. Where did you go? Come here, buddy. Where did you go? Come on, it's time to earn your wet food. Slippery little f***er. Yeah, if you've been here a while, you know who this is. This is Sputnik. There, try that out. He just showed up outside my workshop one day and never left because I wouldn't let him. You want some treats? You want some yummy treats? Yeah, this is who I am now. Deal with it. Sputnik alternates between here and my apartment. The problem with the apartment is there's not a lot of room for him to play. It's small, so we got to go vertical. Of course, there are cat trees, but most cat trees are hideous. Why do they all look like exposed plumbing in a 1970s bathroom? Yeah, carpeted bathrooms. It was a thing. I lived through it. What do you think? Yeah, probably needs to be longer. Okay. There are some pretty good options for modular cat walls, but the problem with those is holes. You need 2 or 3 or more screws for every piece. And if you want to reconfigure things, more holes. And anyone who has lived in an apartment knows what a problem that is when you're trying to get your deposit back. Who among us has not used a tube of toothpaste to make repairs on the way out? So I am going to attempt to build something that is modular, movable, reconfigurable, and that requires only 3 screws in the wall for the entire thing. There's a spot in my office between 2 storage closets that I'm not currently using for anything. That's going to be the perfect spot for Sputnik to occupy himself while I am in there trying to edit video. I'm going to add a couple of these perforated panels to which I can add things to climb on. This is just electrical conduit. You can get this at just about any hardware store. The idea is that these are going to act as tension rods between the floor and the ceiling. There's feet on both ends, so I extend these and it should jam them into place. And the panels I just made attach to these. Probably gonna goof up my paint job before I'm done with this whole thing. Congratulations, you've just invented pegboard. When I get this installed, hail sneezer. The rods will be what holds everything up instead of the wall. It also allows me to set it a few inches away from the wall so I can insert bolts from the back to attach various cat components, cat components. Of course, I would not trust the tension rods alone to keep it in place, so I am going to add a bracket or a cleat or something, I haven't quite figured that out yet, to secure it to the wall so it doesn't happen to fall over. But the floor will still be bearing the weight, so I will only need a minimum of wall anchors. Now, I just need to add some modules for Sputnik to climb on. I went ahead and stained some Baltic birch off camera. I wanted to do that before I cut these pieces out because I want to try contrasting the stained face with the naked edges. In a previous video, I also made Sputnik a rocket ship. Based on the old playground slides from the 50s and 60s. Plans for that are already available. If you want to make something like this, I'm trying to keep the modules fairly simple design-wise, and you can use them without the panels. Just screw them directly to the wall if you don't mind the holes. You can make them with just some basic woodworking skills. In fact, this would be a great project for a beginner. And if you're unsure about those skills, or even if you're an experienced woodworker looking to learn some new techniques, you should check out Woodworkers Guild of America, who is right now offering new members a year's membership for just $1.49. If you're not already familiar with the Woodworkers Guild, it is a terrific online resource for woodworking ideas, instructions, and information. They have a whole library of instructional videos covering topics like joinery, project design, the proper use of power tools like the bandsaw I was just using, hosted by experts with decades of woodworking experience. And they are always adding new videos to help you stay inspired, like George Von Driska's tutorials on wood turning, which is still something I could stand to learn more about. Now, some of these steps I'm doing here aren't fully necessary, like using a router table for the dados and for the roundovers. But if those are the sorts of skills you're looking to add to your arsenal, Woodworkers Guild has you covered. Plus, they've got tutorials on using hand tools, on finishing, on cabinetry, and much more. Just follow the link in the video description to get the first full year of Woodworkers Guild of America Premium for $1.49. That's right, just $1.49. That link is right down there. And thank you to Woodworkers Guild for continuing to support this channel. Now, this basically should just snap together. project is it's a bit experimental. I don't have a lot of lateral wall space to work with. I've got a lot of ideas for different types of modules, but a lot of these modules, at least to start, are going to be mostly steps and platforms, at least until I can see how Sputnik interacts with the space. Ah, beautiful. Oh, you know what? I should have thought of this. Yeah, I was planning to wrap the carpet around the edges like this, but I did not think about, it's not a big deal, but I really don't like how the edge of the carpet shows at the front here. So I could move this back, make this shorter, but then you would see the end of this dado here. Unless, you know what? I've got a lot of very similar parts to cut out anyway. So this is a perfect job for the robot. So I think the fix for this should be easy enough. Yeah, I think I know what I'm gonna do. Okay, so what I've done is I went ahead and added a 1/4 inch roundover to this top piece. That way, hopefully the carpet will wrap around this a little more easily. And I turned the dado into a pocket and carried it through for this support piece. So all I should have to do, hopefully, is this should, oh yeah, that's satisfying. And then add this guy. And then hopefully, yeah, just like that. And now I should be able to wrap the carpet around like this, and you don't see that ugly edge. All right, okay, now just gotta knock out a bunch of these, go into production mode. Let's turn the wheel of industry. Okay, that was a productive half hour. So it took a lot of trial and error to get all these dados to fit together correctly. That's the sort of thing I go more into detail on over on Patreon. There's a lot of uncertainty right now for pretty much everybody on YouTube regarding sponsorships. So it's really my patrons who keep this channel going. So shout out to them. I post behind the scenes stuff over there. I go into more detail on projects. If that's the sort of thing that you think might interest you, there's a link below. Now, like I said, most of these to start out are, platforms and steps. Some of the steps took the form of pegs, which I can arrange in like little staircases. Although they kind of came out looking like Muppet dildos. I made a scratching post out of some scrap PVC pipe. Still has to be covered in carpet, of course, and could be mounted horizontally as a kind of a balance beam. Also, I found this on Amazon. Anybody who has a cat knows they like to curl up in sinks and bowls because they're weird little guys. So I ordered one of these and I made this for it, which kind of came out looking like a Soyuz class starship. I hope I got that right. Otherwise, I'm losing some nerd cred. So this goes in here. It's got a nice little place to relax and observe. Now, the last thing I want to do is I want to make something that's enclosed, sort of a little house, little cave, short little tunnel for some place for him to hide. And I've already cut out the sides here, and you might notice that none of my parts have sharp corners. They all have a radius to them, and I would like to carry that into the front of this little house here. So the way we're going to do that is with some kerf bending. So all I've done is I cut a kerf every 1/4 of an inch through all but the top layer. Now, if I remember right, I've only done this once before when I made a giant version of some 110 film as a coffee table. And that worked out all right. But I can already tell that this is still too stiff, and looks like I did not go as deep as I thought. I've got like 3 plies left here on the top. So I'm gonna run this through again and see if we can't get it a little more bendy. Okay, I recut all of these kerfs and it is definitely more bendy now, but I realized I goofed. I had meant to cut this piece so that the grain of this top ply ran this way. I didn't, it runs this way. So it's still stiffer than I would like, but I think if I'm very careful, I think I can get it there. I just have to fit it in this dado. And this could still crack. So I am just going very slowly. Whoa! All right, you know what? You know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna recut. I'm gonna open the corners up a little bit. Make it a little wider. Okay, let's give this another try. Aha! It was a weird noise. Okay. Yeah, that is, oh, look at that. I like that. That is sexy. I like that a lot. All right. Okay, now I just have to do that again, but with glue. So I was able to locate a stud right here. It's off center for some reason. I'm using aluminum angle as a bracket. There's a corresponding bracket on the back of the top panel. 3 screws straight into the stud. I could hang off of this thing if I wanted to. 2 screws probably would have been adequate. It comes out 1/2 foot. That way I can, I have got room in the back to, stick in bolts. I figured 6 inches was adequate for a reach around. Sputnik is over on my desk right now, absolutely losing his mind. He's so excited. Okay, got 1 bolt in place while I line it up. By the way, I never wear pants in my apartment. Some people don't allow shoes. This is a pantsless home. I put these on just for you guys. You're welcome. Or, I'm sorry, depending on your proclivities. And then I'll extend these feet to the ceiling and lock them off. And with that bracket back there, these aren't completely necessary to hold this in place, but with this bracket being in the center, without these, you can rock back and forth. Yeah, there. That is a lot more stable. That is solid. Oh yeah, that's solid. And anybody who has lived in an apartment knows what a problem that is. Don't drink that. That's paint water. Oh my God.